Gentlemen, we do not stop till nightfall.
What about breakfast?
We've already had it.
We've had one, yes. What about second breakfast?
Ooh, I can cook that. We'll need some sort of sustenance for our mission quest thing.
What's up, hungry people? Fans have been throwing weekend-long Lord of the Rings marathons since as long as the extended editions have been around. Probably longer. And the Lord of the Rings books and feasting goes hand in hand, though we actually rarely ever see any of the meals that they have in the books on screen. And I think it's time for someone to fix this. It's me. I'm going to do it. And not only that, I'm going to go on my greatest adventure yet to recreate some of the best foods and feasts that can be found throughout Middle-earth. So if you like making foods from your favorite movies, books, games, and more, don't forget to flip that sub button to keep your feed fed. Now, let's set the scene, shall we? The Lord of the Rings movies have been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I didn't just watch these movies, I literally grew up with them. In the films, we're treated to Middle-earth on a grand scale, shot over 10 years, out of order, with a massive cast, and somehow still stayed true to the heart of Tolkien's world. Let's not talk about the Hobbit movies. Now, normally I'd take you through the movies, going scene by scene, pointing out every tiny detail where I drew inspiration for these recipes, but we would literally be here for 11 hours and 42 minutes. This video though is going to be a little different from anything I've ever made. I wanted to create a menu that truly captures the feeling of Tolkien's world, the feasts, the friendships, and maybe even find a hobbit hole to cook in. And to do it properly, I'll need to turn myself fully into a hobbit. There's a few surprises waiting along the road, and maybe even a familiar face or two. But before we cook, we craft. To the garage!
Tolkien described hobbits as having tough, leathery soles and thick, curly hair on their feet, perfect for walking barefoot. Later, the movies showed these feet as larger than the average man's, and it turns out I have the perfect subject to base mine on.
Wait, let me take a video of your feet for the internet. I need a reference shot.
Now all we have to do is figure out how to put his feet on my feet. And thanks to Bob at I Like to Make Stuff who figured out this whole process. I watched his video on how he made the hobbit feet for his son, and he made it so much easier to figure out how to do this entire project. So go give him a follow and comment that the starving chef sent you to look at his feet. I used my husband's size 13 feet, cast them in silicone alginate, then poured silicone rubber over my own feet inside the molds to create wearable silicone casts for my hobbit feet.
Oh yeah.
Once the feet were cast, I painted some white canvas shoes to match the silicone color. I glued the silicone feet onto the shoes with a silicone-based glue, and then I used Psycho paints to color match the skin to my body so they didn't, look like dead feet. Then I glued on fake toenails, added fake dirt and aging to make them look like they've walked to Mordor, and added curly doll hair to the tops.
I just tried the feet on for the first time. Okay, I got one on. I haven't gotten this one on yet. This one's a lot tighter, but in comparison, this is my normal foot. There we go. Like when I look down, like these look like my real feet. And let me just try to shove them into my foot.
With some of the leftover paint that I had, I color matched hobbit ears to wear too. At this point, my garage looked like a mini Weta workshop. I didn't record the entire build process, But if you'd like to see full tutorials or more behind the scenes on these, drop a comment below and I'll add them to my endless list of things to film for you.
If I'm going to pull this off properly, I should probably look the part. And since I'm already built like a hobbit and pushing 5'2", thank you very much, there's really only one thing left to do. We have the feet, we have the gear, and the spirit of the Shire. They say it's dangerous business going out your door, and I say it's the perfect place to start an adventure. So, grab your cloak, pack your appetite. I've got maps to follow, fires to build, and plenty of food to cook along the way. It's time to go on an adventure to cook some Middle-earth meals.
Every adventure starts somewhere. Ours begins just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. Our destination, a hobbit house, deep in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Guess there's one thing left to do. Start walking. The road changes, the scenery shifts, and after miles of walking, one thing is clear. Hobbits don't travel on an empty stomach. After all, a hobbit's only real passion is for food. And after all this walking, I think it's time for our first breakfast. And what's this? A campfire ready for making a meal? So I set up camp by the fire. Once I got my cast irons preheated, I let the ham sizzle in its own fat and cracked a few eggs straight into the pan. And of course, I'll need a good strong coffee and cream to start the morning. The smell probably carried across Middle-earth, because that's when I got my first visitor. A white wizard, just passing through. I offered him breakfast, but he said,
"Just tea, thank you."
Then he sipped on his tea, handed me this ring, and said,
"Keep it secret. Keep it safe."
I'm not really sure what to do with it, but I'll hold on to it for now, I guess. Something tells me there's plenty to eat ahead. The road goes ever on, and it's not long before it's time for second breakfast. Based on what Bilbo foraged in the woods, this sandwich is fit for the hungriest of hobbitses. We'll start with homemade sourdough, mayo scraped across too much bread, wild sorrel leaves that we gathered from alongside the road, tomatoes from the garden, and nice crispy bacon. Top it off with another slice of mayo-covered sourdough and wrap it in parchment for the journey ahead. Fresh sorrel, crispy bacon, and freshly baked bread. Good enough to make Bilbo proud. There's a long road ahead, so we best keep walking. time on our journey for well-wishers or distant relations. But we have time to stop for Elevensies with a very old friend. Along the road, I came upon Allison, the barefoot hobbit, having a very hobbity picnic in the woods. We used to run together through the Shire as little halflings, so this reunion was a long time coming. We snacked on fresh bread and crackers, cured meats, pickles, and some cheese and jam. The best meals never last long. The best part was reconnecting with a genuine friend. Before moving on, I took a quick break with the book and a good draw of the finest long bottom leaf. Before I left, I shared some of my favorite salt from the Shire, because everyone deserves a taste of home. Through the forest, I found some unexpected company. Could it be Bilbo's trolls? No, just one of Dambo's wooden trolls. How exciting to share a meal with a guardian of the forest. I knew just what to share. He must be hungry after standing guard all of these years. And who knows when he last saw a roast chicken. We'll start with a whole hen, plucked and prepped for roasting. Seasoned generously with salt from the Shire, just like Samwise would have done on the road to Mordor had he come across a roast chicken. Then coat the entire bird with warm honey. Mix warm buttermilk with a little pickle brine for a tangy marinade. Then let the chicken soak overnight. The next morning, lift it from the brine, let it drip dry, then place it into the roasting pan. Add a green apple inside of the cavity. It'll help keep the meat juicy and the breast raised for even cooking. Then we'll tie the legs with twine, tuck the wings to prevent burning, drizzle it with some olive oil, and give it one last hit of salt before baking until golden crisp and tender. Once it's completely cooled, we'll slice it and serve it cold with hard-boiled eggs and pickles, just like the dwarves ate when they set out with Bilbo. No hobbit skips luncheon. Cold chicken, a few pickles, and an egg or two. Simple, hearty, and perfect for quiet company. I took a short break to read with my new friend, and then it was time to move along. Night fell fast, and so did my good judgment. I could hear an orc camp nearby. As I crept along, I smelled something too good to ignore. With Sting at the ready, I decided to see what was cooking. I might have borrowed a recipe for orc rations. Start with thinly sliced flank steak in a large bowl. Add water from the River Eisen and some magical tender quick for the brine. Then mix in warmed honey, malt vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, brown sugar, garlic and onion powder, dill from along the road, Beaumont seasoning, chili powder, marjoram, hatch chili flakes from the Green Dragon, mushroom powder, and cracked peppercorns. Let the meat marinate until you're about halfway to Isengard. Lay the strips on metal grates, pat them dry with a towel made from the trees, and place them into the smoker. We want to keep the temperature low. We're drying the meat, not cooking it. So we'll smoke for several hours until the strips are chewy and just start to break when bent. Turns out the Uruk-hai have decent taste. This jerky is tender, smoky, slightly sweet, and perfectly tough enough for travel. It's not exactly Shire cooking, but it'll do. Best not to linger though. Orcs aren't known for their sharing. Good thing I've got this ring to make a quick escape. After that encounter, I think I'll be sticking to elvish food, like Lembas bread. It's light and crisp, and just one bite keeps you full for days. Start by mixing warm water, sugar, and yeast. Once foamy, add flour and a pinch of fine salt. Mix with a dough hook until it forms a shaggy dough. If it's too dry, a drizzle of olive oil works wonders. You want it sticky, but not clinging to the bowl. Let it rest for about 15 minutes to develop the gluten, then spread it onto a greased baking sheet and shape it into a rectangle. Cover and let it rise until doubled in size, about an hour or so. It's hotter than Mordor outside, so let's use that humidity to our advantage. Once puffed, drizzle with olive oil and sprinkle on some salt from the Shire. Use your fingertips to dimple the dough and really press the flavor in. Then we'll bake at 350 degrees until golden and crispy. Finally, let it cool, then slice into Lembas portions. When I was a kid, I always thought that Lembas was focaccia, and honestly, that's the vision I still prefer. Light, chewy, and just a little bit magical. Much better than dwarvish cram, that's for sure. One bite, or two, or four, and I'm ready to keep moving. We're getting close to our destination now, but somehow my stomach is empty again. That must mean it's time for a Hobbit's favorite hour, afternoon tea. Mutton is a common meat found throughout Middle-earth. For the road ahead, we're making mutton loaf. Combine ground mutton and sausage with onion, bell pepper, carrot, mushroom, green apple, and oats. Add herbs gathered and dried along the journey, smoked salt, Worcestershire, an egg, and a splash of milk. Mix it well and let it rest so that the oats absorb the mixture. Then we'll pour the meat mixture into a pan, shape it into a loaf, and bake while we make the glaze, which will be made from ketchup, fig jam, and warmed honey. Brush it over the top of the meatloaf halfway through cooking. Let it cool fully before slicing. It travels much better that way. We'll serve our mutton loaf with graham crackers and apple slices for a little sweetness. Mutton loaf, green apples, and cram. Strong enough to hold up for a long journey, and ended with a good pipe packed with the best wheat in all of Middle-earth.
Nothing beats old Toby.
The road ends where comfort begins, and we've made it to our Hobbit house. Though it looks like Bilbo may have done a few renovations since the last time I visited. There's no place like a Hobbit home, and no meal like dinner by the fire, especially when you've picked up a friend who followed his nose here. Tonight's feast: sausages, tomatoes, and nice crispy bacon. A proper Hobbit meal.
Another weary traveler, I see.
We'll first fry the sausages and bacon until golden and tight. Keep the grease in the pan and toss in mushrooms and whole tomatoes on the vine. Let them blister and caramelize over the fire. And maybe give a little scolding to our four-legged friend who keeps trying to sneak a bite.
No. This lady is my best friend now, actually.
Don't worry, he got a lot of treats later. Golden sausages, fat tomatoes, and crisp bacon. Simple, perfect, and fit for a hobbit. But somehow, I'm still hungry. So maybe I really am one. For supper, it's time for a proper coney stew. Taters and all. Over the fire, we'll melt butter until frothy, then toss in diced potatoes, carrots, mushrooms, parsnip, and shallot. Then saute until tender. Then we'll add rabbit meat that's been chopped into small pieces and season with salt from the Shire. Dust with flour for a rustic roux, then pour in a flagon of ale and stir until thickened. Finally, we'll add some barley and broth and finish with bay leaves and let it simmer low and slow. It's a simple hobbit stew. Root vegetables, broth, and good company. And that's really all you need. But let's not be hasty. No hobbit's journey ends without a sweet dessert. Tonight, we'll be making seed cakes with strawberries and cream. Sweet and simple, and inspired by cakes from Tolkien's childhood in South Africa. To make our cakes, we'll combine flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, a pinch of caraway, and plenty of poppy seeds. Then we'll add apricot jam, eggs, melted butter, and some buttermilk. Stir into a thick batter, then grease individual springform pans and fill them evenly. Brush the tops with melted butter and sprinkle with sugar to caramelize. Next, we'll top with oats and pumpkin seeds, then bake until golden. Once cooled, remove the seed cakes from the pans and served with sweetened whipped cream and fresh berries. It's a sweet way to end our journey. From the first fire to the final feast, every step and every bite was worth the walk. I still don't know what to do with that ring, but I'll keep it safe for now. until the day the wizard returns, I'll enjoy a good book and even better company. Well, I'm back. This journey has been one of the biggest projects I've ever taken on. And like any good adventure, I didn't walk it alone. A huge thank you to troll artist Thomas Dambo, Sam Romeo, and the team at Allwood Nature Center in Dayton, Ohio, for letting me film among their incredible wooden trolls and winding trails. If you ever get the chance, go see one of these trolls in person. They feel like they've just been pulled straight out of Middle-earth. To Allison, the barefoot hobbit, for sharing Elevensies and old memories along the road. You made the world feel that much more real. And to everyone who opened their land and kitchen for this project, my in-laws and family at the Douglas Farm, my neighbor Bailey, and our good friends Joe and Kara at Butcher Farms in Copley, thank you for letting me turn your backyards into the Shire. And of course, a special shout out to the White Lotus Eco Spa in Virginia. Their Hobbit house and rolling hills made for the perfect end to this adventure. And if you ever find yourself near Shenandoah National Park, it's absolutely worth the stop. And of course, Bob from I Like to Make Stuff, who quite literally helped me find my feet. Your tutorial literally sparked the inspiration for this entire project, so thank you for making this whole thing possible. And finally, my husband, the original foot model, prop assistant, and best Gandalf a girl could ask. From casting the Hobbit feet to cooking over open fires, this has been the most ambitious and most meaningful recipe journey I've ever created. Every step and every bite was made better knowing that you were walking it with me. But the road doesn't end here. There are more stories to tell, more worlds to taste, and a few projects quietly taking shape just beyond the hill. If you smiled, laughed, or maybe got just a little bit hungry while watching, please hit that like button. It really means more than you know. If you made it all the way here to the end, drop a "my precious" in the comments so I know you completed the quest. There are plenty more adventures and plenty more feasts waiting on the horizon. So if you liked this video, don't forget to flip that sub button and ring the dinner bell so you can be notified of my latest recipes and foodie adventures that I post almost every week. Do you ever get hungry? You can find all of these Lord of the Rings recipes and many more with ingredient amounts and step-by-step instructions over on thestarvingchefblog.com. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode.